Today, like I do well, not all Sundays. Some Sundays I go down into the rabbit hole. I'm down in the rabbit hole. Hopefully, everybody is having a good Sunday. Hey, what's going on, brother Roy? Yeah, man, I'm in space today. I'm I was going down the rabbit hole today, so I figured I'd have a little fun. But I'm gonna give a warning to everybody. Let me just put my warning out there ahead of time. You never hung out with my friends and I on Sundays. Sunday, first of all, we believe in truth in every way, shape, and form and fashion. We don't shun anybody who needs to know the truth about something in particular. A lot of people like to talk about all kind of crazy stuff. Some of y'all only interested in politics. That me and is it my friends and I? It's not me. You're not supposed to say that first. My friends and I, we don't care about just politics. Like truth in everything is how the human race move forward. So whether you're a spiritual person, you believe in soul, you're a Christian, you believe in God, Muslim, believe in Allah, Democrat, believe in Democrat leadership, Republicans believe in Republican leadership. Truth is everything in moving forward. And so I like to look at space because space is one thing they lie a lot about. They've been lying about space from the very beginning, and we have a lot of just good information that explains evidence that explains space, like Iraq, like Yemen, like South America. They like to lie about all of it. And so what I like to think about anytime someone tries to convince me on how I'm supposed to just get in line with what politic leaders and the world leaders have to say, I like the image behind me. This is the Milky Way galaxy. And that was the first question everybody asked. Who the hell took the picture? I don't know who took the picture. Well, maybe it's not a picture. Maybe it is. I don't know. We don't know nothing. And that's the funny thing is we don't know anything because we are serfs and commoners locked in on this planet, and we take extreme positions on things that we couldn't possibly know. None of us that I know of, maybe some of y'all been to space. I haven't been to space, but I've heard of a few people who have been to space, and I prefer to listen to those people than people who haven't been to space. Like I was tickled this morning. I was listening to Edgar Mitchell, and who are some of the other? I was posting a couple. Edgar Mitchell and oh my goodness, I lose track. My thoughts are kind of falling behind. I haven't drank enough coffee yet. Hold on. Edgar Mitchell, and there were two other astronauts that were famous for. They went to space, and they came back, and NASA said all they found was dust. Space is dusty, y'all. Just a whole bunch of dust up there. That's what NASA had to say. And for some odd reason, those astronauts came back, and all they can talk about ever since was aliens, UFOs, and quantum physics, and consciousness, and crazy stuff like that. So to me, it tells me that when those brothers went to space, they saw something that they're not at liberty to say because they don't talk about specifically what they saw. They only come back and start talking about everybody else and getting involved with a lot of the movement for truth for what in the world is happening in space that we're not being told. Space to me is kind of like Antarctica. They don't like to tell the truth about it, and they like to keep the public out of it, probably because there's something there. So anyway, I labeled this one more Polaroid space missions on the way. And the reason why I like that label is because every time we go into space, we got something going around the moon, right? I want to talk about the moon a little bit. We got what is it? L-Rock is going around the moon right now, and L-Rock looks like this. And I think it's a satellite we spent $500 million for. Can you say $500 million, class? $500 million. And it's flying around the moon. And for some reason, I think we sent that up, what, 2008, 2009? I forgot. But for some reason, every time we send one of these really expensive $100 million satellites, billion-dollar satellites up in space, we always send them up like this. Does anybody recognize that? You know what that is? That's a Polaroid camera. For some reason, we always send them. I'll zoom in for you. Every time we send these satellites up, we spend $500 million for them. And the best pictures they ever produce are Polaroid pictures. Pixels that are like 300 square feet. Now, the funny thing, though, about the L-Rock, though, is that camera, or the one they told us about, is supposed to see down to 0.5 meters. Where are those pictures? How come we don't get to see? I paid for the pictures, man. I paid my taxes. Do you pay your taxes? And so people already, they like to jump and get excited. Well, nothing's on the moon. Something's on the moon. Aliens are real. Aliens aren't real. I always like to think about how the majority of religions in the earth believe in a God. And they all say a God is not terrestrial. And if he's not terrestrial, that only makes him one other thing. You're either from Earth or you are not from Earth. And so if the majority of people on this planet actually believe in an extraterrestrial God, and now science is telling us that there are planets all over the Milky Way galaxy and that it's almost impossible there's not intelligent life out there, then it starts to make sense to me why the pictures from the moon, Mars, all the rest of them are kind of blurry. And I'm gonna look at some of those pictures today. I'm gonna look at some of the pictures, and I want to think about some of the stuff that that we don't talk about when it comes to space. So let me see who I got this morning, because this is like my support group. I need a support group because I don't want to think I'm too crazy. I look at stuff and my mind gets blown. I go down the YouTube rabbit hole, start watching videos, looking at pictures, go on the websites. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. One of my favorite websites is Mars Anomaly Research. I hadn't looked at it in years. It's been a long time since I looked at it. But I started looking at it this morning, looking at the pictures, reminded of the stuff that's just like, oh my God, are you serious? That's on the moon. I saw a picture today. Oh my gosh. And I can't show it. I'll put the link out there. We'll talk about it, but I can't show it because it's pretty graphic. So we're going to talk about a couple stuff. So let me see who we got this morning. We got Brother Mark. Good morning. Brother Roy. Spaceman. Yes, Spaceman. Spaceman. What movie was that from? There was a good movie. The kids were running around. K-Pax. Y'all got to watch K-Pax. K-Pax. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not sure. Are we allowed to watch K-Pax? Because Kevin Spacey was in that. I don't know. Maybe y'all shouldn't watch K-Pax. You know what? Get yourself a bootleg copy of K-Pax so Kevin Spacey doesn't get any money from it. Little nasty pedophile. But it was a great movie. Great movie, y'all. Psychopaths, they make the best actors in Hollywood, I think. But great movie. Great movie. I won't do a spoiler alert. Brother Charles, Brother Paul. What's going on, Paul, Michael, and Angela? Brother Mark is in the house. Going far out today. Yes, Sunday. That's what we do on Sunday. Michael and Frederick, Robert, Stephanie. We have to go far out on Sunday because people, they went to church and worship your extraterrestrial God today. So I figured we can talk a little bit about that too. Hello, Stephanie. Kim, Men in Outer Space. Peter, Wendy, Crystal, good morning. Olga, Harsh Men is in the house. Lynn, all right. Got a whole bunch of people, all right. So I think I got enough for crazy support group discussion. We can do a crazy support group discussion. All right. So outside of the fact that we got the L-Rock flying around the moon, and every picture we get back that looks suspect, right? Because people are finding pyramids, and you've got your bases, and they're finding things that are moving on the moon. They're finding tracks, all these things. And even from the Apollo missions, you got all kind of structures, and someone says they saw glass structures, all kind of crazy things. But for some damn reason, they never zoom in. They never, let me see if I can pull some pictures up here. For some damn reason, they never zoom in. So we're gonna start off at the moon. And it just, I guess it boggles my mind that anyone believes that we will make $1 billion satellite and send it up with a camera that was made in the 70s and the 80s. To me, that's a lie. That's a total lie. But what it means to me is they don't want us to know whatever the hell is on the moon. Now, you might believe that it's nothing there. You might believe that it's oil there, some zircon, some minerals and stuff to make cell phones. They don't have no slaves up there to mine them, not that I know of, not like the Congo. But I believe there's a lot of stuff that they just don't want us to see. And I'll tell you why I believe that. I believe that because I believe people over government every single day of the week. Every single day of the week, if a person says something, I'll believe it, just the average commoner, because I don't think that most people walk around here wanting to lie. But I know government lies all the time. They get caught in lies every single day. So why in the world would I trust a lie? You know how to get me to believe in Bigfoot? All you got to do is the government says Bigfoot ain't real. Bigfoot is real. I'm going to do a video about Bigfoot. If the government says Santa Claus ain't real, I'm going to do a video about Santa Claus. It means Santa Claus must have a bag of goodies or some minerals or some gold or something. So whatever they say, I don't believe. But if you have whistleblowers coming out and they're saying, listen, there's a whole bunch of stuff on the moon. All right, and we're going to get into some of that testimony too. But anyway, back to L Rock. So L Rock, satellite that's up there, and it has the ability to see down to ½ a meter. Yet every single picture that we get back from the moon, it looks like, let me show you this picture. There's a picture floating around the internet now. I don't know if you've seen this. They done found this on the moon. Look at this right here. I don't know what this is, but it doesn't look like it's supposed to be there. Y'all see this right here? Hold on, let me zoom. Let me get, that's the far back picture. Let me get you a close up, a more close up shot. That's symmetrical. That's not supposed to be there. There's something on the inside. That's not supposed to be there. Yes, Brother Travis, they like to keep us in the dark. And I'm not going to claim that I know. I just know when I'm being lied to. I don't know. I got my beliefs, but I know I'm being lied to. What in the hell is that? And why does L Rock that you paid for with it, the Polaroid camera, which is not the only camera it has to have a highly detailed camera, or they refuse to zoom in on these areas and let us know what the heck is there. So some of y'all might think it's aliens. Other people might think it's the Aztecs and the Incas. Other people might think, I don't know. But I think it's important because they don't want us to know. So I always wonder, why don't they zoom in on these pictures? So that's one right there. It's kind of got me interested. In terms of the moon, oh Lord, let me show you this one. Let me show you this one. Look at this right here. How come they don't zoom in on this? Y'all see this right here? What does that look like to you? This is going to go over my big head. Look at that. What do you think that is? Now, I can give you my speculation. I look at something like that and let me see. It's not a box of cereal. It could be a guitar pick, but that's a big, big guitar pick. That looks like something crashed to me. I'm sorry, that looks very straight line. It looks very symmetrical. It looks like somebody done had a real bad day. And what I suspect, well, let me show you this. Someone took and they colorized what the rest of it might look. If you can't really process what it might look like, look at this. So someone took and they kind of colorized what it might look like if it weren't covered up, like it looked like it crashed in some talcum powder like dust on the moon. And then I'm gonna show you another picture. Wait, nope, not that one, not that one, not that one. There is a there is a craft. Oh, I'm gonna show you that one. I can't show you that one yet. Hold on. We gotta walk through and kind of process what we're talking about here. There is a craft, and let me see if I got the picture of it. Look at that. See that right there? Now, you know how everyone always asks, how come they don't ever take no pictures of UFOs? If it's UFOs, we have pictures everywhere. What's that? Well, let me move it over here so you can see that next to it. Y'all remember the Phoenix lights when a couple thousand, if not a couple hundred, a couple thousand people in Phoenix, Arizona said something is flying in the sky. It is a triangle. It is black. People took a bunch of pictures of it. Does that look kind of familiar to you? And so there's that. And then there's actually an aircraft that's called the is it the TSRB? Somebody had posted the TSRB. It is a craft that we work on at sea because we did all these crafts that were triangle shaped long time ago. Yes, your tax dollars paid for it. And so I like to think that that is aliens, and it might be. I don't know. I like to think that it's ancient archaeology, and the Aztecs and Incas and somebody before them maybe made it to the moon. That's possible too. It would explain why the Sumerians and everybody knew, you know, where Pluto was, how many planets were in our solar system. It would explain a lot of that. Rochelle said we have a secret space program. And I know, see, you know what? You always telling the secret. You telling the secret, Rochelle. What was his name? Gary McKinnon. Y'all remember Gary McKinnon? Gary McKinnon, I have a couple videos queued up. We might play them or not, depending on where the discussion goes. But Gary McKinnon, he was the brother who logged into the NASA database, right, to see if what Donna Hare said was true. Y'all remember Donna Hare? Donna Hare was the whistleblower who worked at NASA Building 8 and said that in my department, we airbrush out pictures of the moon. And the reason why we airbrush out these pictures is before we sell them to the public, we have to make sure that nobody knows what's in these pictures. And so, and then somebody who asked, have you ever seen some airbrush pictures from the moon? Have you ever seen any airbrush pictures from the moon like they're trying to hide stuff? So what Gary McKinnon did, he logged into NASA. He was a hacker, a system administrator. This was back in the days for some of my IT geek friends like me. This was back in the days when the admin password on NT servers by default was admin. Y'all remember that? This is back in the day when they didn't have firewalls. This was right after the Prodigy days and dial-up, where they used IP addresses facing the internet and there were no firewalls. And so what it meant is you could actually use that software called PC Anywhere, and you could remote into someone's desktop. So what Gary McKinnon did right after Donna Hare explained that we were in Building 8 and we were airbrushing pictures, he decided to log into the NASA database. He logged into NASA computers. He found out, he did a net stat to find out which ones, because they named the computers. I believe he said they named the computers after the buildings they were at, which most IT departments do that today. They just have firewalls today. And he found the Building 8 computers, and he found a manifest for extraterrestrial officers off-world. He downloaded that spreadsheet, which he lost his spreadsheet, by the way, when they took all of his things. Before they arrested him. But he also found a picture that he was downloading, which he said there was a craft that looked like there were no seams on it and nothing that was possibly made on this planet. Gary McKinnon, so somebody said that it was possibly a military secret space program. I think it's very possible. I think it's very possible. And to me, it kind of makes sense that if they don't show us pictures on the moon, if they're actually airbrushing them out, then it actually means to me that they're hiding something. And anywhere the government is hiding something, that's where I want to look, because I think there's probably something interesting there. Let me show you another one. So by the way, in case you didn't know, because you'll look at the testimony of some of these people. I think I showed them before. Look at this one right here. The airbrushed photos. So it's funny that before you actually see the airbrush photos, someone tells you that they're there, and then everyone starts to go out on the JPL website and find them. And you look at the testimonies like from Donna Hare, these people. Donna Hare is a very real person. She is a friend of mine. We used to play Scrabble all the time. And but the fact that she came out and said, we airbrushed out the pictures before we sold them to the public. And now you can go out on JPL's website and find all these pictures of all these things that are airbrushed. And I think I have one. The funny thing about it though, is look at this right here. Not only are they airbrushing out structures that look like they're symmetrical, but you can actually see shadows in some of it. So you can actually see that not only is there something on the moon, but there's things on the moon that are tall enough that have shadows. What in the world is our governments? What are they not telling us? Something I was thinking about this morning too, in addition to this, I was thinking about how, how the only space programs that are ever successful are space programs that are allies of the United States of America? You ever think about that? The only people who go to space, who get to go to space and land probes and have any successful footage, are allies of the United States of America. India has another satellite going up later on this year, I think in April. And it's a moon rover, actually. It's a moon rover. And I suspect they're only going to find dust too, because they're a U.S. ally. U.S. sends them a whole lot of money, not unlike anything else that we do on Earth. See, that's just conspiracy theory. That's corrupt. Is it not now public knowledge that if you don't do what the United States of America needs you to do, that they will stop giving you money, that they will stop selling you arms and weapons? And you know what that means for your country. If we don't give you money and we don't give you arms and military, we'll give them to your neighbor. And if we give them to your neighbor, you can expect your government to be destabilized. So the idea that only U.S. allies actually get to have space programs, I think is significant. And someone might say, well, but then there's Russia. First of all, the first Russian probes they sent to, what was the probe they sent to Mars that just magically, it was flying to Mars, and then it saw this long angular shaped object on the moon, on the Mars, and then it disappeared from Mars, and then it showed up in the camera's footage right in front of it. And then the very next thing that happened is the probe just was destroyed. And this was back during the Cold War. And so Russia, the funny thing about Russia, and I have some ideas on Russia. See, I don't think Russia actually is an enemy of the United States. I think Russia, the same people who bought America, they bought Russia too. The same people who bought Washington, they bought Moscow at the same time. It was a two-for deal. They could get them real cheap, a couple $100 billion, and they bought them too. And the reason why I say that is, as much as they like to pretend that Russia's the enemy, we've never fought Russia in open conflict. Talk big game, we get in all these arms races, but in every conflict, Russia and the United States are pretty much allies. The only times a U.S. dollar fights a Russian rupee is through a proxy war. It's the only time our weapons face each other. Other than that, we're pretty much allies in every damn thing. And how great of a screw to the world would it be for the oligarchs to have Russia in their pocket and the United States too? Sorry, so let me keep going. So something else that I find to be highly interesting is that, hold on, let me remove some of these pictures. I find it highly interesting is Google Earth. Google Earth, let me go to my notes. I was looking into this because, Google Earth has better cameras. You get better images on Google Earth than you do on $500 million satellites with state-of-the-art NASA cameras. And I've got my theory why, but hold on. Wait, where's my notes? I got to find my notes. So the interesting thing about L Rock is 31 miles over the surface of the moon. And they want you to believe that this is the best picture that they can get. Hold on. Here are my notes at. The name of the camera, all the good stuff. If you want the details, I'll post them for you. But the Google satellite, if you've ever been to Google Earth and seen the details, seen your car, you can see your car. This object right here is like 500 feet in the, long on one side. But on Google Earth, you can see your car in your driveway. You can see people. Do you remember that case going back, was that about 10 years ago, where the kid was murdered and the father was suing Google to take the pictures off because you could very clearly see from Google Earth the kid's body? It's a sick thing. Unfortunately, I always like to look into things. I hate looking at stuff like that, but I wanted to see if it was true. But if you remember, go back, it's still, you can actually still find it in the news articles, but you could see the child's body and you could see the police officers walking around as a 14-year-old kid and the police cars. And so you had all that data. Guess how? So Google satellite, you know what the name of it is? It's called GeoEye-1. You can look it up on Wikipedia and it'll give you the details. Guess how far Google I-1 or GeoEye-1 is from the Earth? 423 miles. And it gets pictures of police officers. And we got a satellite that's 31 miles above the moon. And we can't even see a massive ship. It's because they don't want you to see it. My belief is they send multiple cameras up. And you, as a taxpayer, you pay for the camera. You pay for the people who develop the camera, who always overprice, because that's what the military-industrial complex does. But when they send the satellites up, they put one camera on for the dummies, which is us, and they put the other camera on for them. So what is it that's on the moon that they don't want us to see? So the moon is one of them. And let me see if I got any other. Oh, here's another one I found to be interesting. Here's another moon picture. What the hell is that? The hell is that? An angular symmetrical shape on the moon. A lot of people have theories. They say it looks like a spaceship that's crashed into a crater. I did a video not too long ago. Remember, we were talking about the cylindrical UFOs and how all the airline pilots, they were talking about how they've seen these cylindrical UFOs and how that town was in Germany back in, was it like 1423, something like that. There was some big alien battle spaceship fighting in the air. And yeah, it looked like a joint, Lynn. Yes, it looked like a big joint. And but all these airlines and all these whistleblowers came out. If you ever question anything I say, just go Google it. Just go look up cylindrical UFOs. You'll get tons and tons of pictures on them. And so they found it. And that was the other thing. That was the Russian probe, and I forgot the name of it. Somebody had posted, or I'll post it. But you can, if you just do Russian probe destroyed online, you'll find the whole story. Russia released the pictures. They saw the cylindrical UFO over Mars, and then they saw it in front of the camera, and then the camera and the whole probe stopped working. So I find that to be interesting. Let me see. Nixon phone call to the moon. How did that happen? I don't know. I don't know anything about that one, Wanda. I don't know if did Nixon call the moon? Was Nixon one of the presidents who supposedly had met with the aliens? I don't remember. I thought that was Eisenhower, where they said he had a meeting because it was what was it back in the where the UFOs flew over the White House and there was like a fleet of them and everybody in Washington came out, was like, oh my God, we're under attack. And they launched the jets to go chase after it. And they couldn't catch it. This stuff happens all the time, which is why I don't understand why there's, what is it, like 30% of the population still believe we're the only thing. Let me switch my pictures. 30, because I have to show this picture, otherwise it doesn't make sense when I say it. But 30% of the population, they look at pictures like this from the Hubble. And y'all ever see that picture where it says this is the Milky Way galaxy and this is Earth? Hold on, let me get all the way down. If you look at all this stuff that's out here, you look at all that white stuff and the red stuff too. Don't look at just the white stuff, the red stuff and the white stuff. You know what all that red stuff and white stuff is? It looks like dust, but it isn't. Hundreds of billions of stars with more Earth-like planets than grains of sand on all the beaches all over the Earth. So there's no question that we are not the only game in town. And it's obvious that they kind of hide it from people. And my reason as to why I think they don't tell us the truth about this stuff is because I think if humans actually realized they weren't the only game in town, I think they'd fight less. I think if we really realized, if we thought possibly that our all-powerful governments that love us to death were actually probably among the weakest groups, the weakest military, the weakest minded, the most primitive brain species in the solar system, in the galaxy, I don't think people would worship them the way they do. It's why I talk about some of the stuff I do, because I don't understand why would you trust a government that always lies? But I think if we went back in ancient history, I think you'd also probably find a 0.01% that also did a whole lot of lying to get people to build pyramids and do stuff like that. So let's move over. I want to go over to Mars. Can we shoot over to Mars? Because another reason why I think that fibbing, not really telling a whole lot. Oh, but hold on. Before I do that, so let's clarify. If anybody wants to see the testimony, let me know. I got it queued up. I played it last time. You got Donna Hare, who is a friend of mine, who saw the structures on the moon. And there's another brother by the name of, from the, Carl Wolf. Sergeant Carl Wolf was another one. Then you had Gary McKinnon. He was the other one. And there was one other person that comes to mind. He was an oil derrick engineer, something like that. And he questioned the Apollo pictures. And what happened was he went over, he took the picture. He took the book. What was the name of the book? The book was called Somebody Else Was on the Moon. And he said, I'm going to send this book all over to Congress and everything, blah, 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 if you don't let me see the Apollo pictures. And so they let him into, I forgot the NASA center, and they let him look at the pictures. He and I think there was another press guy or something that went with him, and they weren't allowed to take pictures. And he said he flipped through the pictures. He also, too, saw all of these structures on the moon, that they were square and rectangle shaped, massive structures that were on the moon, and they corroborated all the testimony. The reason I'm saying all that, and I'll post the links if you want to see their testimonies, is because I don't think people sit around and got all the time in the world to make up lies to lie to people. I don't think engineers throw away their careers to tell us this stuff. I think they do this because, I'll show a little bit of what this brother got to say. In case y'all haven't, y'all remember this guy right here.
So this mosaic then would be put in that contact printer, and that was then a print that was issued to whomever, the press, the scientist, whatever, wherever that was intended to go. So he was showing me how all this worked, and we walked over to one side of the lab, and he said, by the way, we've discovered a base on the back side of the moon. And I said, whose? What do you mean, whose? He said, yes, we've discovered a base on the back side of the moon. And
let me give a precursor. So this is Sergeant Wolf, what he was a repair guy for their photo imaging system for NASA. And so he would go, and they were having trouble with one of the photo processing devices. And so he went to go repair it. There were pictures stuck in it. And so while he was fixing it, one of the guys told him, this is the story he started telling him.
At that point, I became frightened, and I was a little terrified, thinking to myself that if anybody walks in the room now, I know we're in jeopardy, we're in trouble, because he shouldn't be giving me this information. I was fascinated by it, but I also knew that he was overstepping a boundary that he shouldn't be stepping over. And then he pulled out one of these mosaics and showed this base, which had geometric shapes. There were towers, there were spherical buildings. There were very tall towers and things that looked somewhat like radar dishes, but they were large structures. So I didn't say any more to him because I was concerned again that somebody was going to come in at any moment, would catch us having this conversation, and we would be in.
All right, so I'll post the rest of I'll post his testimony if you want to see it. After my videos, I like to post the details, so you can see the details, but he was one in many. Somebody just posted, Donna Hare is a real person. Yes, she is a very real person. Once again, she's a friend of mine. But that was Sergeant Carl Wolf. One I ran into this morning was the guy from the Bentwaters incident. And so for me, I like corroborating testimony. So when people start looking at structures on the moon, and I'm gonna take you over to this website. I want you guys to look at. But when people start looking at this stuff, you can look at it and you can say, okay, they're making it up. There are a lot of people on YouTube, man. They'll take a picture of a rock and they'll see an alien face. They'll take a picture of a crater and they'll see all kind of wild stuff. But when you have multiple eyewitnesses that are coming out and they're saying these are people who worked in these industries with this stuff, like no one's coming out their butt with this, right? These are people who worked in these capacities and they're saying, look, there's a lot of stuff on the moon. There's structures, there's ships, and the astronauts are coming back, and it's not just dust up there. This is important. But check this out. So this was the guy, what was his name? I don't want to call him the guy. Larry Warren. He was a security officer at the Bentwaters event. Y'all remember the Bentwaters event? That was the one where it was in the UK. UFO came over the military base. Everybody ran. It was one of the best documented cases of some sort of interface with some ship that nobody knows what it was. And the base responded. They went out in the woods. They saw the craft come down. They saw the hieroglyphics on the side of the craft. The craft took off. Extremely well documented. You can look up Bentwaters. But this is the testimony of Larry Warren, security officer. And after he talked about Bentwaters, they showed him a tape. Let me show you what they showed him a tape of if you didn't hear his testimony.
Big kind of pelicans or birds go right under it. And I'll never forget that in my life. I remember that better than the incident in the field. The space program, it showed, and I swear to God, it showed structures on the moon, these box kind of things that looked sand-colored. It showed that lunar car moving around. I remember those clearly because I remember being a child when all that was happening, but them at a distance pointing, astronauts pointing at these box-looking things, structured objects moving off the surface of the moon, filmed by definite Apollo missions. And
what did the structures coming off the moon look like? What shape?
The structures on, and I know this is the moon because it was the Apollo era, looked like a continuation of the color of the moon, but they were structured to it like huge box kind of things, very square and angular structures without windows or any kind of thing like that, but they were artificial, clearly. And they were being filmed in gray, and then when there were lights and weird things on top of hills,
were they in
lights.
good condition or old?
Oh yeah, no, they looked pristine.
And were
they looked like giant
moving, any UFOs moving?
Very clearly in different scenes. Where a lot of it was with the lunar car, that mission. Some of it was the astronauts on spacewalks and something dark coming right up near them with red points of red light. I remember that. All of this was very quick. They never showed it again. The Apollo is kind of the era where it kind of ended. I immediately, after getting back to the dorm with Greg Battram, after calling my mother, her getting cut off, being told by this operator, were you cut off from the base? And I said, were you cut off? And I said, yes. She goes, you were cut off from the base. Click. I knew I was in trouble. I was called to the communications section of Bentwaters. I knew it was coming. Staff sergeant was there and a captain who was a black man, and I can't think of his name right now. It is in the book, and that is his actual name.
Won't go through the rest of it. Bottom line is he got in trouble. He told his mama. This why, but you know, you're supposed to tell your mama stuff. He called his mother. He said, Mama, I didn't see this structures on the moon, Mama. Aliens, they just landed. So what happened was, he was one of the security officers. He went out there, saw the UFO, saw the UFO land. They took him back to the base. They showed him this tape, and I think they tried to induct him into this, programs like, all right, this guy, he's already seen something. So I think it actually makes sense that they would, at that point, indoctrinate him and say, look, aliens are real. Here are the Apollo mission tapes, the ones that disappeared, your tax dollars paid for, that they can't seem to find. The NSA can't see. They don't know where the hell they put the original Apollo tapes in the footage. But anyway, but they tried to indoctrinate him. They showed him the tapes and listen, we're going to make you Mulder. You're going to join the X-Files. Because it makes sense. It's too late. Like the guy's going to be a natural whistleblower. And so he was like, nah, hell no, I ain't doing that. I'm calling mama. He called his mama. He told on the Air Force. He told on the Air Force. I'm telling mama. He called his mom and told on the Air Force. And so And they heard the call because, of course, he's on base. All the calls were monitored, so they caught him. They cut off the phone, and that's when they told him. They said, "Well, you were cut off by the base because you were talking about this thing." He said, "I wasn't talking about it." He said, "They said you were talking about it." He said, "I wasn't talking about it." He says, They said, all the phone calls are recorded," and so they basically fined him. Whatever. He got out, and now he's a whistleblower. He's telling the truth. Why am I showing this? I'm showing this because you're not crazy if you believe there's a lot more going on than what we know. If all the ancient cultures talked about it, and we can go through testimony after testimony after testimony. If one person said the structure's on the moon, I'd say, huh. If two people said it, I'd say, huh. If three people said it, I'd say, huh. But if you have multiple people who throw their careers away to try to let you special people know that you are not the only game in town, maybe we've been here before, maybe the human race actually got to a point where they could do space travel. Maybe all the people in the past weren't lying. Maybe Enoch did go up in a ship, maybe that's why they knew what the solar system looked like. And perhaps that's why you can't get into any of these sites when they're doing construction on them. When they first find an ancient pyramid or site, you can't go there. They go in and because what are they looking for? They're looking for the technology that ancient human beings actually got to the moon and built some structures. Or maybe they were aliens. I don't know. Maybe they were time traveling humans. I don't know. All I know is this is very important and pertinent. If that's the TRS-3B, is that the name of the ship? If that damn thing is flying around the moon, let me show you a picture. If that damn thing is up here flying around the moon, and we are down here in wars for oil, and they are flying around the freaking moon, what in the hell are we doing? Look at this right here. So there's a lot. I'm gonna come back. I'll play some more testimony, but look at this. So there's a lot of junior astronomers where you can make your own telescope. Did you know you can make your own high-powered telescope? You can make your own high-powered telescope, and they're actually looking at the moon day in and day out. The videos are all over YouTube. You can go see them, and you'll see they've got all the UFOs they capture flying over the moon. UFOs. When I say UFO, it could say U.S. Air Force on the side. It might say not USSR. It'll say Russia on the. What do they put on the side of their ships? It might say Putin. I don't know what it says on the side of their ships, but they might say that on the side of it. But it's a UFO to us because we don't know what the hell it is, or it's an alien. But they look damn sure like what your tax money paid for. And so the biggest issue I have, and like this is why I appreciate Stephen Greer and the Disclosure Project, is what they're talking about is this technology needs to be used for human beings. Like I said before, the whole discussion about UFO and top secrets and government being allowed to have secrets, this is not politics, and this is not aliens. This is not a debate. This is a statement that they have high technology, and they always have high technology that we're not allowed to know about. And if we are dying, 7 billion families strong, we are dying for the resources on this planet because of the wars and the scarcity, and they're flying around in space, and these whistleblowers are telling us they got secret space programs, they got free energy, they have all this technology. Governments can't have secrets. And this is why the Bernie voters have everything in common with the alien voters, because it's all related. Government can't have any truth. I'm sorry, I'm off. I get excited drinking my coffee. Let me look at some of the comments. It's a conversation. It's not just me talking, because I'd be crazy all by myself if I talked about this stuff by myself. You couldn't talk about this stuff back in the 80s. You can talk about it now. Back then, you were a nut job. But now all the airline pilots and the military and the CIA and all of these black project workers have all come forward before they die and said, aliens are real. And then they died. These people, now that they've all come forward, now we can talk about it. We're not crazy. Just like vaccines. Now the doctors are talking about, hey, we need to be caution with this stuff. Now us regular people can talk about it and not be crazy. So, all right, let me see what we're talking about. All right. Hey, oh my gosh, what are you unearthing about the Illuminati today? Brother Andrew, I don't know if the Illuminati tied to aliens? I don't know much about the Illuminati, and I'm not talking about them. You know, my government, I'm not scared of them. They bring it on. I'm not messing with the Illuminati now. I might talk about an oligarch or two, but I don't know who that is. So I don't really mess with them. The Anunnaki, brother, and yeah, the Anunnaki, right? The Anunnaki, that's that theory with translations by Zechariah Sitchin of the Sumerian text, you know, but that's debated back and forth. You'd be crazy to believe, wait a minute, you'd have to be crazy to not believe there's way more going on than what we've ever been told. Brother Jay, yes, totally agree. You would have to be crazy, quite literally, because it flipped the script, right, Jay? It flipped the script. Before you were crazy if you said this stuff. Now that we know there's no way mathematically possible that intelligent life developed in one place, you are a very special individual if you think human beings are all alone in this universe and we are the only intelligent thing. I don't really know what to say to somebody like that. I kind of, because I just, but you know, I get the same look on my face when somebody's trying to convince me that the government's here to help. We're talking about gun control this week, that the government has our best interest in mind. Yeah, I'm not getting into that. We are not talking gun control. I don't believe these people. These people are always lying. They're always up to something. And people who lie to you are not your friend. Try it as an example. I always like the marriage examples. If your wife is always lying to you about where she is, she's saying she working late and you seeing pictures on Instagram, she out there drinking and stuff, hanging out with her friends, and there's some cute, strong guy with some six packs at the bar she's sitting next to. If your wife is always lying to you about where she is and where she's going, what she's doing, she is not your friend. To me, I think lying is it's a primitive thing. I don't think sentient people lie. I think lying is one of the most horrible things about humanity. I think it's verbal violence. Because if you're lying to somebody, you are actually changing their reality. You are changing, or you're trying to change reality for them. It's a horrible thing to do. So this idea that we keep electing primitives who lie to us to rule the world, to run all the Congress, Senate, and all the world's governments, it's a crazy thing because all they do is lie. People on your side, people who have fidelity with you, they don't lie to you. So I get that same look on my face. Like I said, when people start trying to get me to go along with the government, oh, they're going to help us. They're here to help. Like, man, do you know anything about history? Was it George Carlin who said, he said, you know, something about if people who trust the government are people who are just completely ignorant of history. I messed the quote way up, but you got the meaning of it. Brother Andrew liked the Transformers. You know, oh, Andrew, and oh, I got to show you something. You remind, let me show y'all something. Hold on. I was looking at this one. I was like, is this real? What the hell is this? Hold on. Let me delete this picture so I can show you this one. Oh my gosh. I looked at this. Now, brace yourself. Y'all sitting down? Brace yourself. Hey, don't make no mess in your pants. Look at this. Wait, watch this. Bam! Oh my goodness. What the hell is that? Look at this. I got to zoom in. Oh my gosh. What in the hell is that? Somebody tell me what I'm looking at. I can tell you what it looks like. You know what it looks like? Now that does that look like a big old transformer to you? That look like a transformer? I don't know what that is. So people speculate about what it is. Now, mind you, the shadows on the moon can be really, really funky, right? And so it could just be light shadows and rocks and shards and minerals and stuff. But does that not look like a big, you ever stand in front of a street light when the light is not a street light, like a light where it casts a very long shadow? Does that look like something is standing on the moon? Maybe the shape of a robot? Maybe the shape of Optimus Prime? That's Andrew, that's Optimus Prime, brother. Somebody, they didn't fly, you know, Elon Musk, before he sent up his Tesla and he sent up his toy of Optimus Prime or Megatron, and it landed on the moon. Look at that. That's kind of crazy though, isn't it? Because then I think they looked at the picture later and it was gone. That's crazy. I don't know. It's, you know, again, if it was back in the 80s and you didn't have all these whistleblowers who came forward and told us that all this stuff is going on and that they're lying to us and they gave up their careers, I wouldn't believe it. But now that they're coming forward, and if you never heard of Stephen Greer, I always got to plug his effort. Y'all got to follow Stephen Greer and the Disclosure Project. So what they did is they all went in front of Washington at the press club, and this is where Stephen McKenna, where he got started out, where Donna Hare gave her testimony and the rest of these folks. Stephen Greer got together, I think it was 100 of them at the time, professionals who worked for the government. You know, you can trace their background. They all were there. They were legitimate. They weren't crazy people. They all had careers. And he went because he wanted Congress to have congressional hearings on disclosure of what the hell is happening with UFOs in this world. And so they went to the press club. They had all, it's like 3 hours. No, it was a whole weekend, but there's a whole bunch of clips on YouTube. You can watch the testimonies, but they were professionals who wanted Congress to have official hearings so they can tell their testimony. And why is it significant to me is because all of these people would not only lose their jobs, they would perhaps lose their careers. These are people who have wives and husbands and children, and they're willing to lie to Congress to be locked up in federal prison. If that's a lie, right, then everything's documented. And they are daring Congress to have hearings. And you know what Congress did? Didn't have a damn thing. They could care less because they know you are being lied to. Because they want to use all this technology to murder people and take their minerals. That's why. So that thing is awesome. This has all happened before. This will all happen again. You're right. If we don't know our history, we will not know our future. We'll get up to the moon and we'll get wiped out again. You know what, Jay? Sometimes I think that maybe, possibly, we get up to these points in civilization and you got these other alien species that come around, look at us, and they kind of judge us. Are they ready? Are they ready? And if they're not ready to like be flying up here in space with us, they go and they nudge the asteroid so it just goes towards Earth. A little nudge, because we have what is it, Saturn, which most of the asteroids get pulled to because of the gravity. But every now and then one of the asteroids doesn't make it to Saturn. Every 13,000 years or so, by the time we start flying around in space, like, no, they're still violent. Nope, they didn't learn the lesson from the wolf. They domesticated the wolf, made it a dog. It's happy now. They gave it abundance. It's got love and care and concern. Doesn't want to eat and kill everybody. But the human beings are still violent. They still keep putting the 0.1% in charge of everything. And they just hit that little asteroid. Wipes out all life on Earth. And we start all over again. I think it keeps happening. And you know what a good example of that for some of my Christian friends? I'm Christian too, by the way. I just don't believe what a lot of Christians believe. I don't believe that book is God breathed. I believe that it's a book and people saw something and they wrote stuff down because they couldn't understand and process what they were seeing. And then it created a religion. It doesn't take any religiosity. That's not a word, but it doesn't take that out of religion. It's just a clearer understanding, because the Bible even says, study to show thyself approved, not be ignorant, act like you know every damn thing and invade every country for oil because you think Christ was an oil baron. That's no, we're not going to politics. This is unknown day. This is what the fudge day. I think I'm gonna call Sundays my what the fudge day. What the fudge? All right, so you look at these pictures and you think of that. All right, so let's keep going. Donna, where is Donna at? Donna, where is my girl Donna? Let's tell Donna's story. Where is Donna at? Donna, where you at? Here she go right here. Although I'm sure they're gonna. Oh no, I thought they were gonna do the pharmaceutical commercial first. Oh, you know what? This isn't the one I want to play, but this is her testimony at the press conference. So I'll play this one instead. Sometimes Donna would join the broadcast. She comes. Sometimes she watched.
Donna Hare, and I worked at Philco Ford Aerospace from 1967 to 1981. During that time, I was a design illustrator, draftsman. I did the launch slides and landing slides, and also projection plotting boards, lunar maps for NASA. I had the opportunity to do extra work during downtime, which was between missions, and I walked into a photo lab, which was the NASA lab across the hallway. I had a secret clearance which is not that high, but I was able to go into restricted areas, which this was. At the time, I was talking to one of the techs in there, and he drew my attention to a photograph, a NASA photograph. It had a dot on it, and I said, "What is that?" Well, he drew my attention to it, and I said, "Is that a dot on the emulsion?" And he said, and he's smiling, and he has his hands crossed, and he said, "Round dots on the emulsion don't leave round shadows on the ground." And this was an aerial photograph of the Earth, I'm assuming the Earth, because it had pine trees on it, and the shadows of the craft, or whatever it was, were in the same angle as the trees. And by its very nature, UFO, and I wanted to clarify that to a gentleman that was talking to me, means unidentified. So I did not know what this was. But I realized at this point that it's very secret, that it was kept secret, because I asked him, "What are you going to do with this piece of information?" And he said, "We always airbrush these out before we sell them to the public." So they're pesky little creatures appearing on this photograph they wanted to get rid of. After that, I decided I would ask questions to other people that work there. And I found that I had to ask them away from the site. And a guard told me that he was asked to burn some photos.
Stop there. That's Donna. That's my friend, y'all. Don't be saying nothing about Donna. And so the funny thing about this is, if you really think about how did this happen? So y'all know how you're in the workplace, you're in corporate America, and you always got the pretty girl in the office. Y'all know how this goes. And the manager comes down, and the manager doesn't talk to the supervisor, walks past the senior person to go sit on the desk of the pretty girl. That's how this happens. So of course, one day the manager probably went on down to Donna's desk, sat down, said, "Oh, I got to show her, I got to impress her." You know, because this is what women do to us. We're always trying to impress them. We're still locked into our Cro-Magnon thing. We need to put our clubs away. But so he took his club out. Look, let me show you a picture. Let me show you a picture, Donna. Check this out. And he shows her the picture. That's what was really going on, right? Because he was trying to get street credit with her. And so he showed her the picture. And then it led Donna down this path, and where they would sit there and they'd meet and they'd talk about it, like, whoa, like, you saw what, blah, 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 and it never really got out. And so again, it's just corroborating information. You can believe your government, or you can believe all these people who are putting their careers on the line to try to tell you that the world isn't really what you think. Somebody asked, am I a Lori said, I'm a quasi-Christian. No, I'm not. I'm actually a Christian. I am a Christian. Like, I have, I don't know, brown eyes. Like, I got a bald head. It's just, it is what it is. I'm not going to kill nobody over it. I'm not going to agree with no one because they say they got it too. I'm not going to, so I don't fall into the tribal aspects of what modern Christianity is. I think people, they forget what their religions are for. They're just for love, right? It's like something you believe. It's like you believe in Santa Claus. Okay, good. That's what you believe in. Or you believe in baby pigeons. You never seen one. You never been to a pigeon nest, but you see an adult pigeon. You think pigeons are real. So no, I'm a Christian. I think maybe the world disagrees on what it is. I think this thing called Christ, alien, came here and said some things, and it said some things, and then people went off and wrote the rules of what they wanted to do and how they were going to be based on that. You ended up with scrolls that ended up in Bibles. They were canonized a whole bunch of different times, and there are different people who believe the 3,000 different types of Bibles. And you even got everything from people who go to church once in a lifetime to people who are Westboro Baptist Church, right? The Al-Qaeda Christians. So I don't really think like that word exists, or Muslim or anything like I did, because everyone believes something different. And if everybody believes something different, it's just the word, it kind of means nothing to me in terms of, because you fit that categorization. It's just, okay, so you got brown eyes. What is that? It doesn't really mean anything. So I'm not a quasi-Christian. I'm a Christian, and I'm a Christian because of this very serious thing. I once I told you this before, I met a human being that knew some things a human being was not supposed to know. And that blew me away. It was a Christian church where my wife at the time and I met this human being, and this human being knew something that a human being couldn't possibly know about our life. And it was not like a palm reading thing. It was not like some esoteric. I'm a skeptic with everything. That day, and that from ever since, we're still good friends. Oh man, no, we are Christian. Because that thing came to us as a Christian. So I don't know what the heck that thing was, but that thing knew some things that a human wasn't supposed to know. So no, for me, it's not, it's not a doctrine type of thing. I think that there's, okay, here's an example. I think it's a history book. I think it told some tales. Think of the Tower of Babylon. We were just talking about like the extinctions that come along on any regular basis. The Tower of Babylon story, where all the world people got together, they started building this big old tower, and they were trying to reach the heavens, and they thought they were going to be great as God. And this God thing said, nope, you're not ready. And so it knocked the tower down, changed everybody's language, gave them different cultures, and they made them babble. Like, I'm not sure if that story is told exactly as it is, right? Because over time, those stories change. But to me, it actually is interesting, and it kind of makes sense because you go down this avenue of, is this some sort of alien species or something that watches the planet? Everyone called it something different, created different religions or whatever, but it won't let us go out into space until we get rid of our ignorance, until we stop murdering and killing each other over minerals. It's not going to let us in space. And so it keeps plucking asteroids back at us, or the whole Tower of Babylon example, where you're trying to reach the heavens. It all could be an analogy, right? Where you're trying to reach the heavens, but you can't reach the heavens, or you can't ascend. I got a lot of friends who believe in ascension. I'm not sure I even know what that is. I have to spend some time with y'all. Y'all can teach me, but maybe it makes sense that it's an analogy that we can't reach the heavens until we get our ignorance straightened out, till we stop fighting over Bernie, Trump, Obama, and all the other people y'all like to fight over. How do I feel about the Baha'i faith? I don't know anything about the Baha'i faith, Andrew. You're gonna have to tell me. That's how I learn. I talk to my friends. It's all about love. Yes, Brother Michael, it's all about love. We have to love the future enough to try to discover the truth. And this is why my mainstay is government can't have any secrets. Big corporations can't have any secrets either. If y'all are flying around and y'all are covering up, y'all are covering up. Something I wanted to show you. Y'all are covering up stuff all over the earth and space and these technology. You can't have these secrets. Could be afternoon where you are. Yeah, it is afternoon here, Lola Mar. Welcome to the conversation. Let me see. Don't believe in much anymore because I've seen and heard things. Rebecca, and I'm with you. I don't believe anything. I don't know that I believe anything, because if you live in a time where most everything is a lie, how can you form any staunch opinions on anything? How can you get to a point where you want to fight everybody on everything because you don't know what to believe? It's like we live in boxes of lies and boxes of partial truths. So we don't know. And that's why when these whistleblowers come out, I don't care what they're whistleblowing. Could be Loch Ness Monster, could be Bigfoot, could be Chupacabra, could be aliens, UFOs, could be release the memo. I don't care what they're releasing, Trump's taxes. If you got a whistleblower that's coming out, I'm listening. All right, let's keep going. So let's go over to Mars. Let's take a look at Mars. And so hopefully we're done with the whole, there's something on the moon, because there have been enough whistleblowers who came out to say there's something up there. We don't know what it is, but there are enough people who came forward and said they're lying to you. It's something up there. So look at this. Hold on. Let me get the right one. Where is it? Here it goes. Let's start here. We can start right here. Look at this. Look at this right here. What do you think that is? This is a picture of Mars. What does that look like to you? Which is why they don't use the cameras that they have on Google Earth. Which is why they say, oh, where's my Polaroid at? Where's my Polaroid? That's the name of this show. Every time they send up $100 billion satellite, they always put a damn Polaroid camera on it. Where's my I didn't move my Polaroid. All right. Well, we don't show the Polaroid. That's what this is about. They always got some Polaroid pictures. What does that look like to you? Does that look like a river basin? Does that look like a lake bed? Have you ever grown trees? Have you ever seen trees grow and how they grow in the national parks, how they always hug the coastline because they love water? Does that kind of look like that might be what that is to you? You ever wonder why they never show us any, or they very rarely show us color pictures? Look at this one. Somebody took one of these pictures and they colored it in. What does that look like to you on Mars? What if it has a lot to do with just, maybe there's nothing alive there. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's petrified. Maybe they just don't want people to discover it because they want to get up there and study it and do all the biological study so they can make a super germ. Because you know they're not doing nothing good with it. They're trying to find out a way to kill people with it. That's what they always do. They're trying to find a super germ so they could spray on the Russians or something. And so, but if it's not clear, if you've never seen a satellite picture of some trees, let me show you this. Here's a satellite picture of trees. Look at that. What does that look like to you? I suspect that there are trees on Mars that they don't want nobody talking about. Possibly because I think if people look up, let me show you another one. If people look up, they'll stop looking down. So look at that tree in the middle of the forest. That's a dead tree. It's look all dried up and everything. Might be a birch. I'm not sure. It's got white bark. It's interesting. But we're not talking plants today. But so look at it. Look at the trees on Mars. Now, is it possible that somebody done spilled their milkshake? Yeah, that's possible. It is. It could just be crystalline ice milkshake because the alien dropped the milkshake. That could be. But damn it, that sure looks like a tree to me. It looks like a tree. And we have the camera to zoom in, which always beckons that next question. Why the hell aren't they zooming in? Or water. Yes, Andrew. And I think there's water all up. I mean, we know water's everywhere in either a solid form or liquid form. But I don't think there's a debate whether or not there's water on Mars. Water is there. They say that it defrosts every now and then and rolls down the side of the cliffs and the hills and stuff. But there's water on Mars. So if there's water on Mars, you know there is life on Mars. You can't have liquid water on a planet that used to have life and have no life. It's just not possible. There is no asteroid impact that could make it past Saturn to destroy Mars to a point where you wouldn't have some life that's still living under the planet after the asteroid wipes everything out because they didn't learn to get rid of war. They didn't know what a bonobo and a chimp was, and they didn't evolve like y'all didn't want to. And they plucked the asteroid at Mars and wiped them all out. But then that microbiology deep within the Earth, deep within Mars would bubble back up to the top. Life would start again because you got liquid processes. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're just up there studying all this stuff and they don't want us to know. Good question somebody asked me. How come the Curiosity rover is still running, 8 years after it was supposed to die out? Because somebody keeps wiping off the solar panels. Was it Richard Hoagland who said that? That brother, he's a little out there. He's a little out there for me. Y'all think I'm out there. Richard is out there. But I love it, brother. Good guy. He worked with Cronkite and back in the Apollo missions. But you know, he has some really special stuff he likes to say. But that's one thing he said is that we have a deep space program, and anytime, because the Curiosity rover, it kept people focused on Mars. It meant they didn't have to send any other missions or do anything else. So they wanted everybody watching the Curiosity rover and the opportunity. And so anytime the solar panels got dirty, they just go up there and get a little Indust. Do they still sell Indust? I think that's a carcinogen. You spray it. That's why my mama used to always make a spray on the furniture and wipe the dust off the solar panel so the opportunity rover could keep going. Oh my gosh. So what else we got? I was trying to see the comment. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. Yeah, and you're right, they shake it. And that's what they do. You gotta blow it too, Andrew. The Polaroid picture. I was good with a Polaroid. But that's my biggest question. How come they don't zoom in on the picture? Because they always send these damn probes up with Polaroid cameras. And people actually believe this stuff. People look at this, and to them, like this is actually real. hold on, let me see. There was something else. I had a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, you know what? Look at this one. This is Mars, and this is a pyramid. They done found a pyramid. Y'all see in the distance? Hold on, I got a bigger picture of it. Let me see if I can blow it up. They done found a pyramid on Mars, and of course they're not going to zoom in because they don't want you to see that. That's a side picture of it. Hold on, here's the top picture. I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. There's a top picture right there. I think that's Mars. Yeah, that's Mars, right? Sometimes I get my libraries mixed up. So they found a pyramid. And why is that? To me, it's not really all that crazy. Because every continent all over this planet has pyramids. And if we ever did make it to Mars, we put pyramids. I saw a theory the other day someone was talking about. They said that the pyramids were like weights. Like, you ever go fishing? I used to go fishing as a kid. And you put the little lead weights on the fishing line to make sure that it gets weighted the right way. You ever balance a tire? You ever notice? I don't think they do it anymore. I haven't seen it in a long time. When they used to balance the wheels on your car, they put the lead weights on them so it balanced appropriately. And that little lead weight would actually affect the balance of the entire car. But there was a theory that that's what the pyramids partially were for. Some people say they were power plants, and some people actually still think they're tombs, but we're not going to go there. But that the pyramids were actually weights that were balanced, and they're put on places on planet to make sure they maintain certain orbits and rotations so that the planets can support life. Because you think about how delicate our planet is, and they talk about the polar flips, where the planet can flip around, it can shift, and that brings on the ice ages and ends the ice ages. But if you're a toddler alien and you want to have an experiment, start a colony, say your name was Jesus or your name was Buddha, give a Shiva, something like that, and you want to start a colony on Earth, you might have to balance the Earth out with the current ice shelf to make sure it balanced out right. I don't know. Could be. And it could be energy too, right? Like, because we know that the rotation of the Earth, it has a lot to do with the well, everything's energy to begin with, right? And so it could be that it's a big magnet, and it still does produce energy, but it has multiple purposes. But maybe one of those purposes, energy-wise, is for that. I don't know. Possible. Okay. Brother Travis, I'm talking crazy now. Travis, I'm always talking crazy, man. What you I don't know. You know, I like to listen to people's theories because it to me it's interesting. So anyway, so back to the trees on Mars, and this is Mars, this is Earth, but this is just kind of an example of how the trees, they hug the low-lying areas where there is water. And so that looks about right to me. Here's another picture. This is the moon. This is something on the moon, and of course, can't really make out what it is, but it's weird. It is weird. I don't know what it is, but damn it, I see some shapes, I see some lines, I see some symmetry. Why won't they zoom in? Because the Polaroid didn't run out of film. That's why. They sent the satellite up there with, they only had 1,000 Polaroid cartridges. Y'all remember you used to put the cartridges in? They ran out of cartridges, so they can't zoom in, I guess. All right, now I want to show you something else. This is one of my favorite websites. Let me see, the best way to show you this. I don't know. Oh, let me delete some of this. One of my favorite websites, because I mean, you can go out there, you can go to Google Moon, you can go to look at the satellite pictures, and you can when I was a kid, I used to comb through a lot of this stuff, and you can find interesting things. Or you can go to these websites. Here's one of them I like. This is up. You can't see the top of it. Hold on. Let me make a modification so you can see the whole website. I want you to see everything. How do I do this? I think I go like this. I'm getting better with my technology. Like that. And hold on. Oh, we're almost there. That. Okay. This is Mars Anomaly Research. You can go there right now. Oh, the URL doesn't show. Okay. But it's MarsAnomalyResearch.com. I like the website because these people already put an awful lot of time into actually going through pictures and trying to find things that are interesting. This is real deep to me because they did a lot of the research themselves and they make cases for it. I'm gonna try to find a link that I thought was yeah, evidence by category. And then so you can go over here, you can go to water evidence, biological evidence, civilization evidence, warfare, the strange, tampering. I don't know which one, moon evidence. I think I was on moon. Yeah, it's moon. So I have some flat earther friends. They're already going to start getting into how hollow it is. But how do we know where they're lying? We know they're lying because they screw up on the images. This was one of the photos. I won't go through the whole report. You can go to the website, go through the whole report. But you ever play with your pictures? I know Brother Damien knows what I'm talking about, but you ever play with Photoshop or edit pictures or anything, and every now and then your finger on the mouse, it makes a mistake? You see that thing in the middle of the picture, that line? It's like somebody was actually airbrushing, and while they were airbrushing, they made a mistake. And so there are a lot of images, I'm just going to show you a few of them, that prove that the actual yeah, so they said the moon landings are fake, and there are a lot of things, there's a lot of evidence that shows they faked the moon images. And there were a lot of moon images they faked. They did a lot of alteration of images. Whether it's the tracks, what is this one? Oh yeah, I don't know if you can see this one, but in the upper, I'll zoom in the upper half of the picture where the arrows are, there's a power cord. Is anybody seeing this? Y'all see the power? There's a power cord on the moon. Is anybody seeing the power cord on it? Is it just me? Look at that. Here's a zoom in. There is a power cord on an official Apollo photo on the damn moon. There's only two options. That either is a power cord an alien left, or this picture was not taken on the moon. I'm not saying the moon landings were fake. Not saying that. What I'm saying is that they're lying. They're obviously lying. So that was another good one. So you can go click over there and check that one. I think that was Moon Fakery 2. Then there's Moon Fakery 3. I didn't really get into this one. Some of y'all might know it, but I guess they talked about the tracks from the rover. When it was weighted down, it didn't make tracks, or rarely made tracks. And this was a picture where they're showing where when they stripped it down, they were packing it up or unpacking it, where it was lightweight, but you can see it an obvious track in the photo. And so this is a deep website, but it goes through the details and it shows you, and the point they're making is that at its lightest weight, it made a track, and that they're lying about a lot of stuff in the moon. And I think there are a lot of great military industrial complex reasons why they'd lie about it. And I let everybody can have their theory. I'm not even sure what this one. Oh, wait a minute. Can't show you this one. This is the one. So, and I'm not going to show it because if you show it, they shut your channel down, or they'll block the video if they don't like it. So I'm not going to show it. But if you go over to MarsAnomalyResearch.com evidence report, click down to Moon Fakery, you'll see it's moonskull.html. You can click on it. I'll post a link if you want to see it, or you can go over to the website and click on it. But there's a picture here of something, and they got the link to the JPL website, but I'll go down and maybe I can show you part of it. See if I get in trouble. Because it's not supposed to be nothing on the moon. If there ain't nothing on the moon, this ain't supposed to be there. So on the moon, let me show you part of it. I'll just show you the top of it. That's the top of it. It looks a heck of a lot like a desiccated face. Y'all need to go check that link. I looked at it, and it's kind of freaky. I'm not going to say it's a desiccated human face. I'm going to say it does look freakishly. You'll see, like, if you look at the mummies, how they don't have a nose, the flesh rots away, and you just have the face, the nose and the eyes and the mouth. All of that is there. The teeth, all of that is there. Could it be a trick of shadows? Absolutely could be. But because all the ancients basically said we have flying ships, alien or think gods came out of the sky, all the whistleblowers coming forward saying there's structures all over the moon, somebody was there. And if somebody was there, odds are somebody probably died there. If it was human beings going back in the past, yep, their space program would have been just like ours. Disasters would have happened. But it actually does look like a human skull. And they got the link to the JPL website. So if you want to see it, go see it. But it's scary that this stuff is all out there. And people still believe that we are the greatest thing. We're the only thing. And everybody that came before us wore grass skirts, carried clubs, and said unga bunga. That to me doesn't make any damn sense. So this is a good website. So if you go over here and you click around a lot of them, the moon tower evidence, moon towers and shadows. Yeah, so you go over here, you can see the shadows, you can walk down. So you don't actually have to do the research yourself. And this is the old website. This isn't new. And they're showing you airbrushing. So Donna Hare told you about the airbrushing. The brother before that told you about the airbrushing. So you know that they're airbrushing photos. And this is one of the great websites because it's not a guy who's just talking about it on YouTube. If you look at the bottom of the picture, the upper left-hand corner, it gives you the official number on the JPL NASA website where you can go to and actually see the site on your official tax paid for government website where they airbrushed out a picture that you paid for and they won't let you see what's in the non-airbrush picture because there's something there. That could be a statue of Trump, y'all, right there, like that. It could be Obama too. I don't know. It could be this. I don't know what the heck is that? That could be a temple, a tower, it could be a train. They could have had an Elon Musk back in the days with the Incas and he could have sent up the train or something. Maybe Elvis, yes, Rebecca, Elvis, Elvis could have went to the moon. We would never know. We don't know because we're not allowed, because we're too stupid fighting with each other over just silly stuff and not forcing truth to be known. So I want y'all to support this guy's website. Well, I think it's a group of them, but there are a couple of these out here and I'm not going to click on all of them, but just more of them. And it's just endless. And you see all of these pictures of all of these airbrush photos that you paid for. It's obvious it's not a mistake of software. Software does not screw up like that. If you see the screw ups in software and the layover maps, they look very different. An example, I'll give you an example. So every now and then you get these anomalies. I saw this picture and somebody was like, oh my gosh, it's a UFO on the moon. It's a triangle UFO. Let me show it to you. Look, it actually does look like it. I looked at it. I get all excited sometimes. I'm like a little dog, start wagging my tail. I get excited, like right here. Damn, it sure looks like a UFO. And it does, possibly like a triangle-shaped UFO. Or like a house and somebody got Christmas lights up. The aliens got Christmas lights, y'all. But you look at it and you see symmetrical lights. You see shapes that nature rarely makes. Well, shapes that nature without geology to make them and water to make them, it doesn't look like it fits. And you look at it like there's something wrong there. But this is why it's important to do follow-up and do a little research. When you overlay multiple images, which is what a lot of the cameras do, here's another good picture of it. Let me show you this. And it looks like it. You get all excited, looks delicious. That's another picture of it. But in reality, let me show it to you. In reality, there are mistakes that the software makes. And when it makes them, you can find evidence elsewhere in the pictures. Like when I used to go through these pictures, I would always look around on the picture and try to find something. Oh, you know what? I thought I had it. Maybe I don't. I try to look around on the picture around it to see if it's a selective image, because there are people who they'll go find these images and they'll show you only part of it. It'll look like it's something interesting, but they don't show you what's around it. And it obviously isn't what they said it was. You know what? I can't find it. So anyway, but when they lay the pictures together, they look like this. This actually, if I find it, I'll post a link or I'll upload if somebody wants to see it. It actually isn't a triangle UFO. That is when they put 4 pictures together it creates this little condition that makes it look like an artifact, and it's not. And so my point, though, is back to the website, that is not what's going on here. That these actually are, uh-oh, what's that? Oh, that's in the way. These actually are airbrushed photos. And what's crazy is look at the arrows. There's a whole lot of stuff happening in that picture. There's a whole lot of stuff in that particular picture. And you can go read the case and the information on it. Like they give a whole lot of information. Look at this one's got like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Look at all the arrows. They got cars, man. It's trains. It's people. It's kids right there playing hopscotch. And they're just fading them all out. Base motel. Yeah, the base motel. Yeah, it could be the base motel. I don't know. I have no idea these photos. Yeah, Gretchen, I don't have an idea either, which is why I find it interesting that professional people are saying that they're lying about what's up there. And the first thing everyone wants to do is deny it. So I'll go through and I'll play with it. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time playing with that because there are things that look like they are things, they aren't things, they are things. But take a look at that website. Tons of fun stuff out there to go through. You ever get bored? Delicious conspiracy. Well, not really a conspiracy. We know they're lying. Look at this one. Look at this. How cool that is. What the hell is that? Now, mind you, it's not blue. Somebody colored it in to try to, make a picture of what in the world that possibly could be. But that looked weird to me. I'm not sure that that's some dust. I'm not sure that that's a rock. That's looking kind of special. Let me see, what are y'all talking about? Government milking us dry. Yes, Lynn, I think they are milk. America is a looting operation. The whole country's being looted. They're looting the rest of the world because they're looting Americans and they get them fighting over silly stuff. They can lie to everybody and they're looting the whole world. Could be a tank, Brother Andrew. I don't know. I think it makes sense for them to weaponize space in case some non-U.S. allies get up there. They might have to blow something up. Why would people hide the secrets? Why would people hide these secrets? Want to hide them? It seems counterintuitive. I don't know. That's a good question, Andrew. I don't know. I know that our government always lies. I think that it's a unity conversation. Like I said on my last crazy Sunday, Ronald Reagan made that point that if everyone had a reason to come together, that they would come together. And I suspect that they don't want people to know that there's a better reason not to divide up and be looted. And so if they convince you that you are the only thing in the universe, you're the only thing, that there is no greater threat, that these regular extinctions don't happen, they can keep people fighting. There's another picture of the moon I love. Now they're starting to show color pictures of the moon, which is good. India has a probe coming out in April, and I'm pretty sure right now they're strapping the Polaroid. India has theirs coming out. They done made deals with America. Now they get to send up their what is it called? It is called the Chandrayaan-2. There was someone talked about how Chandrayaan-1 found water, and so now they're sending up the Chandrayaan-2, which is an actual rover. So they're sending that up, but just like the same thing, they're not sending up with Google technology that's 20 years old. They're not sending it up with American technology that's 50 years old. They're sending it up with cameras that were made right around when the Wright brothers discovered flight, because they didn't want people seeing what actually is up there. They sent it up with these guys. They're going to send it up with the Polaroid. But we don't get to know. And if we don't get behind this governments can't have a secret initiative, if we can't get behind politicians need body cameras, if we can't get behind there's no reason on earth for any government to have any secrets anymore, then we won't know why they're lying. They might just be lying because there's some oil. you know, but I don't think that's the case. I think there's a lot more going on up there. And I think these whistleblowers all were trying to tell us what the hell was going on, but we don't like to listen. Um, Let me see. It looks like the pyramid in Vegas, that was an overlooking. Oh, that was overlooking the shooting. Oh, I don't know. That's deep. Lots of pyramids all over the earth. Yes, lots of pyramids everywhere. Gretchen says, I don't deny any of it. Neither do I. I don't know that I can confirm it, any of it either, Gretchen. I don't deny it. I just look at it. I'm just like, whoa, whoa. And the more they like to lie about it, the more I'm just like, whoa, we need to get these files released. NSA, because the NSA has the Apollo pictures. Because what happened, there was, from the Apollo missions, there were 140,000 tapes from the Apollo missions. And one day somebody showed up to the archive and said, we need to move these to the whatever space center. And they never made it to the whatever space center. And so all of the Apollo tapes that you pay for, your taxes paid for, that have all the details of all these pictures, all just disappeared. They all were supposedly, NASA thinks they were degaussed. They were just taken and broken down. Nope, they were put on other reels and they were sent to certain bases. So when people like the brother we just heard the testimony from, the sergeant from Bentwaters, security officer, when they actually see a UFO and they realize that none of this is true, they show them the tape and they indoctrinate him and say, hey, you got some choices. You know, we can fire you, we can kill you, or you can go over here and be Mulder. Solution, no more secrets in government. Lola Mar, you and I are on the same page. Psychopath Moon Army. Glenn, I don't know. I don't know. There's probably so much happening in space that it would blow our minds. I believe, Glenn, that all that Star Trek, all that stuff Gene Roddenberry came up with, I don't think he made it up. I don't think it was his idea. I think he was given that idea. I kind of believe a lot of my spiritual friends, when, you know, they go to sleep and they wake up and they know things. Like Edgar Casey was one of them, and Nikola Tesla was another one. And all throughout the Bible, there's these people who went to sleep and they woke up and magically knew something they weren't supposed to know. I got a lot of spiritual friends who will tell you about the pineal gland, the third eye, and how, you know, things are communicated through those things. I got a lot of hippie friends that do psychedelics, the mushrooms and DMT, and they tell you that they go to these trips and they learn and know things they weren't supposed to. The ancients all talked about it. So I think it's very possible that there is a lot that's happening out there, but slowly these things are released to us, perhaps through these spiritual ways or whatever. And we're kind of told these things. Gene Roddenberry went to sleep one night and he woke up and he was like, Star Wars, you know, Star Trek. And he started writing a Star Trek series. And it's like a slow introduction to us. And to me, it's like a hint. If there were some great intelligent species out there, it would drop hints to us every now and then because it's trying to push us along. Like, you don't go through all of this effort where you take the monkey, because we're mostly monkeys, monkey DNA, and you mix it with your DNA, your chromosome, and you actually come up with this human being thing that just completely didn't evolve because their heads are too big even for the birth canal of the mother. They can't walk when they're born. It's obvious they can't look at the sun. They're not from this planet. They don't have the pigments that work right in the environment. They're not, you know, they're only partially from here. It actually makes sense that you put all that effort into creating this thing. You put pyramids all over the earth to balance the earth out. You protect it from asteroids so magically the climate's stable, so you can make these multicellular organisms. You don't do all of that and don't send them hints, right? You're going to drop little hints where you can. And if that's through the pineal gland, or if that's through dreams, or that's through it could make sense. I don't know. I wish other life forms would come here and tell the world, the planet, how messed up it is. Then we can unite and fix it. Yes, Gretchen. And a lot of people think that they have. I've never seen them. I want to see them. Aliens, y'all here, come knock on my door. Don't take my blood or nothing. Don't impregnate me and don't stick no probes in me or nothing. But come knock on my door and tell me something. 'Cause I haven't seen them, but there are a lot of people who say aliens walk the earth. A lot of people came forward, said Eisenhower met with them. There are people who said Hitler met with the Nordics. There's a whistleblower on the Disclosure Project who says there are multiple species of aliens. Some of them are malevolent, the others are benevolent. But I'm with you. I do. It would be nice if they actually showed up and said, listen, this is what's really going on. But I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I think that's Hollywood. I don't think the aliens will show up. I don't think I think we're supposed to figure this out on our own. I think that when they finally let species fly around out in space and they wait till we evolve common damn sense. I think they wait till planetary wide, most of our species is sentient, smart enough to not act primitive, right? To not murder people, to not be violent, not lie to people, not do all these things that show that we're a lesser evolved species. I don't think they would want to deal with it. It's like your toddler, or infant. Before they're ready, you don't let them out the playpen. I had a son, he was a little rough. Every now and then I had to put him in the playpen. He had to sit in the playpen for a little while. He was a little big to be in it, but I had to do something for a minute, whatever, and I know he'd be over there breaking the TV or whatever. When I was a kid, I took a spoon, I broke the fish tank. But you kind of keep your young isolated because you wait till they're ready to be outside of the playpen. I think we're a baby species. I think we might be locked in a playpen because it's obvious we're not smart enough to get out. We still have identity politics, for goodness sakes. We got people who worship politicians. They can't do no wrong, and all they do is wrong. And it's insanity. But we got to get out of that. It's a beautiful picture. Yes, it is a beautiful picture. I love it. That's why I love to look to space. It's so beautiful. Like I'm glad they're done with those black and white images. I wish they'd get rid of the blurry ones, but beautiful pictures when you look to space. Need a new truth and reconciliation. Yes, we do. Crow 777 has some awesome videos on YouTube. Okay, thank you, brother Harley. I'll have to take a peek. They can use religion to divide and conquer, but it won't work when people are enlightened about alien life. Yes, Andrew, that's what I'm thinking. That's exactly, and it's not what I'm thinking because I think it probably came from Reagan or somebody else said it, which is a new thought. So when they did the Apollo mission, they put together the Brookings report. And the Brookings report basically was a study that said if they find any alien life on the moon or any signs of it, that they can't talk about it. They can't show it because if they did, it would destabilize Earth. People would leave their religions. They wouldn't pay their taxes. They just act a fool running the streets. And so they withheld that. And I don't think they withheld it because people would go crazy. I'm really rethinking this one, Andrew. I don't know. What if the Brookings report was more about people would actually realize the insignificance in acting a fool? What if Reagan was right with that? If people actually knew that something else was on the moon, that there's something greater than us, I think people would actually grow the hell up. That's the scary. I think that's scarier to a government than people acting a fool and not paying their taxes. It's scarier to them that people would no longer fall in order, fall in line behind them. Because there's a whole lot of ants on this planet. And as long as the ants are dumb and they're off going to the picnic, trying to steal little Becky's cupcake crumbs, then the queen is happy. But if all the ants get together and say, whoa, you aren't the queen of me. You aren't the boss of me. These aliens, they're real. They're up there. I think that might be what it is. I think the Brookings report is the exact opposite of what I used to believe. But like I said, I can be wrong. I have no ego. I can be wrong all day long. So I think I'm making the official statement that I was wrong. The Brookings report was about unity, and that's why they don't let anybody know. Off to the moon, yes. Or a new Nuremberg trials. Yeah, ooh, Lola Mar, can you imagine that? If people actually got together and they actually had war criminal trials for the wars that happen around the world right now, woo, we wouldn't have no government left. They'd all be gone. They'd all be in prison. They'd be in Mexican prisons. If they go to the prisons of the countries they kill, murder, death, and destroy, they'd be all. But but I think we got to get to that. I not really gotta. They gotta go to prison, but we got to get rid of them, y'all. We gotta stop voting for primitives to run government. We gotta put scientists and teachers and doctors and naturopathic doctors and holistic healers and spiritual leaders. We need people, atheists. We need all of these people representing the diversity of mankind and the ideas we share to run this world. We don't need primitives running our world anymore. And I think the only way that happens is if people actually accept that we are little, we're not insignificant in the universe. Something helped us make it, this far, but we're not insignificant. Like someone said the other day, they said, in less than 100 years, we went from horse and buggy to landing on the moon. There is no way we did that. In 200,000 years, we made a wheel and we haven't gone anywhere beyond that. Damn it, most of the things we still ride on have wheels. Like, think about that for a minute. The first caveman, they got the wheel and the stone. Kink, 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 kink. I made wheel. And we had wheels. And here we are, damn it, 20,000 years later, and we still are riding on some freaking wheels? What the hell? We need real leaders. We don't have leaders. We have morons and primitives. Love them to death, but I'm sorry, they can't run this anymore. Lynn, y'all see what Lynn said? Lynn said, I have a Fuji camera, I'll donate. Please, girl, you know what? Get your Fuji camera, box it up, put a ribbon on it, a bow, some donuts, and something, and send it to NASA, damn it. And send it to the Indian Space. Does somebody have another one? Somebody got another Fuji, or send them a Samsung camera, something. Anything that gets a better picture than the crap that they show us. Please. Amen. Lynn got me in church today. Amen. Lord Jesus, I want to run around the church, slap everybody. Somebody send NASA a camera. Oh my gosh. All right, what else are y'all talking about? And then I'm going to wrap it up. It's hot. Y'all hot? It's hot. I'm under some lights. It's hot on the moon, damn it. They didn't tell y'all that? Whew, let me cool down. Let me go to Machu Picchu, see if I can cool down. Look. Whew, nope, still hot here too. I didn't really go nowhere. All right, I love this background because I think the ancients, if y'all went and y'all saw the picture of the, of what they think is a skull, not the rich one Richard Hoagland found, not that one. Richard's a little out there. I love that brother, but he's a little out there. The one on Mars Anomaly Research. Again, go check out that skull. Because I think that skull might be who did the buildings before the Incans and the Mayans and the Egyptians. Because all three of them said that they got there and they actually made, their structures on top of previous structures. So I'm thinking that that's where it came from. That might be who's on the moon. You got, pre-Incan or Mayan or something up there. I think the 1%, the 0.01% before us, I think they got everything together. They got on some spaceships and they got the hell out of there. They tried to live on the moon and maybe they died. They built a couple structures. They thought they were safe. The asteroid came, extincted the dinosaurs with the rest of the humans, and they were up there and either they just died out, flew away. They got sick of it, went on a vacation. But maybe that's what's up on the moon. And the Pentagon budget. Yes, Andrew. And we just dealt with that a few months ago, the whole UFO lobby. It is like officially in the mainstream, there's a UFO lobby. There's $22 million that they put forward to study craft that fly around in our airspace. So it definitely hit the mainstream and we pay for it. Yeah, space, love it. Universe is God, lots of life forms, some more evolved than others. And yes, Gretchen, if you got a species that's 1 billion years old, a species that's 100 billion years old, They would seem like gods to us. Please come help us, Gretchen said. Yeah, I think they do. You know what? There's a whistleblower on Stephen Greer's on the Disclosure Project. He was one of the guys who said multiple times around the world, they went and a ship, a light, a probe, a drone, something flew over top of the nuclear silos and shut them down on multiple occasions. So maybe they are here to help us. Gretchen, maybe they are coming. You know, look at World War II and the Foo Fighters. You know, oh, brother, I forgot the guy's name. Put something on my thread today about in 1952, we got into this big battle with aliens. I didn't know anything about that, but it reminded me about the battle for Los Angeles. But it seems like at times of war, these craft, these drones, probes, time machines, perhaps, of humans coming back, they seem like they appear. So maybe they are trying to help us, but we got to be listening. And that's our biggest problem. We don't know how to listen. People still like to fight people over cannabis. They like to fight each other over the war on drugs and gun control. And they like to fight each other over things to try to, you know, knee-jerk reactions about what's happening today instead of looking at the big picture, looking way down the road. We got to start to listen and look at the big picture. We got to be multiple steps of this 0.01% that's always lying to us. We got to be multiple, because there are always multiple steps ahead of us. And the only way we do that is we stop doing knee-jerk reactions and we start thinking about the big picture. Too bad there's no videos of Tesla talking 0 point. Yeah. What? No. Yeah, Harley. I don't think when Tesla was around, did they have video? Yeah, they did. They had videos. But maybe there were. How do we know there weren't videos of Tesla? A few weeks ago, I was talking about Tesla. If you go out to the FBI's website, Harley, you can download a lot of Tesla's documentation, what was re-released to his family after he died. And you know, they redacted out tons of it, tons of it. So Nikola Tesla, the one who pretty much invented every damn thing we all use every day, all the motors, all the electric motors, he invented all of that stuff. He invented the AC current. He is responsible for our whole modern civilization. He developed the technology, and after he died, and he said he could make death rays and free energy and broadcast energy all over the planet, the government went in, the FBI went in, took all of his stuff, and I think they wouldn't give it back to the family for a couple of years. They finally gave it back, and when they did, it's now mostly redacted. So you can go out to the FBI's website right now. You gotta check a button. I hate checking buttons on these websites because that's probably when they download their malware. But you got to go out there and you can see Tesla's files, mostly all redacted. And the only reason they would redact that is because there's something pertinent that's in there. And so that's a thing. But also, if he had videotapes, I don't think that we would be seeing those. I don't think they'd release that to us, Harley. I think they would hold on to that. Yeah, Gretchen, I love Hubble. And I think Hubble is going to go down as one of the things that evolved our brains. When we actually looked into outer space and realized in the darkest corners of space that there were millions hundreds of thousands of other galaxies in the darkest areas. When you look at the night sky, no way we're alone. Saw a video where some guy in Buzz Aldrin's face accusing him of lying about landing on the moon. Buzz nailed him with a right cross. Yeah, well, you know, Lolamar, and that's the astronauts. They were our heroes, and Buzz Aldrin was another one. He was another one who went up, and you know, before he went up, he didn't necessarily say anything about aliens, but when he came back, oh, everything was alien, UFO, and so Buzz Aldrin was another one. They have this fetish. They went up. NASA said they only found dust, but when they came back, they're significantly interested in alien life. I think they went up, they saw all these UFOs, they weren't allowed to talk about them, they signed the documents or whatever, and they came back and they're passively trying to let us know that they know there's a lot of stuff going on that nobody's talking about, that there's something out there, but they can't say it. So they go to these UFO conferences and they give these lectures and they talk about it. to kind of let everybody know, don't be stupid that we were told to lie to you. So, they are heroes, but, you got to live within the laws of the land. And if they sign contracts that said they can't talk about that stuff, then they can't talk about it. Let me see what else we got. Last couple comments, and I'm going to get out of here. An intelligent life form would avoid us just to avoid the entropy. Yes, they would, Andrew. I can't see why an intelligent life form would want to have anything to do with us. We're sick, and we don't even know how sick we are. Unfortunately, when are we going to evolve and stop killing? Stop killing each other. Gretchen's talking about. I think it's coming, Gretchen. I think we're getting there. I think people are sick. Like I said, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. I never voted for the presidents that people voted for, but the fact that they voted the way they are, it's obvious people are getting sick and tired of it. Less people are voting all the time. They're really getting sick of it. The establishment, when poor people realize they have more things in common, that's when good things can kind of happen. And I think we're heading down that road. Let me see what else we got. Oh, you shared and invited. Thank you, Lynn. You're rewatching it. Yeah, I don't like to go back to the beginning, what I talked about at the beginning of the video, because then it's weird for people who watch the whole thing. But go back, rewatch from the beginning. I appreciate your share and your invites. They always like to censor anytime somebody talks about something that's not bunnies, kittens, cookies, recipes, chocolate cakes, and vote for Democrats and Republicans stay with Republicans. They like to shut down on that stuff and censor. So I appreciate that. All right, what else we got? We could actually elect new people, not psychopaths. We could, Joe. We sure could, but we got to grow up first. Diverse government. Yes, Carolyn, imagine that. Imagine if we had a government that was representative of the people. How sick would that be? How crazy would that be if every perceived group had somebody who carried forward the ills in their area, the things that they need assistance with? That would be amazing. We'd actually get somewhere. We'd go back to evolving and stop devolving, which is what money did to us. Let me see what else we got here. Beautiful pictures. Got it marked. So they have fiat currency and have bought up everything of every value, all the governments and their justice system. Yes, they have. Our governments are all bought and they're all paid for, and they got a receipt. We don't get our governments back because the oligarchs got a receipt. The Anunnaki, whoever it is, they got a receipt, and we don't get to get them back. We have to either vote them out or just shut them down. That's the only two ways it goes. Otherwise, we keep marching towards de-evolution and primitives running the earth. All right, let me go all the way down to the bottom, last couple points, and I'm gonna get off of here. Look at the Edison elephant electrocution tape. I can't watch it, Andrew. I saw it a long time ago. Don't want to watch it again. That was the one where Edison, the little nasty, sick bastard, he electrocuted an elephant to try to prove Tesla was crazy. And the good thing is nobody believed him. They realized he was crazy, because if they actually believed Edison, who did some good things in his own right, it's just you don't kill a damn elephant for profit. That's that same psychopath mindset that the Washington and the Congress has right now, where they want to kill people and it's okay for profit because they want to they're told by Wall Street to beat out the competition. But I'm not talking about that. I can't go over there. I'm not doing politics today. This is my Sunday. We talk about crazy stuff on Sunday. We talk about what the fudge. But click through that website. It'll bless you. It's a lot of fun stuff on there. Let me go all the way down to the bottom. All right. Whew. All right. So that's what we talked about today. I think I showed you all the pictures I wanted to show you. Let me see. Oh, I'm gonna show you this, and I'm gonna end on this one. I'm gonna end on this. I stole this from a friend's page, so excuse me if I wasn't supposed to. But the 3 stages in life: birth, then what the hell is going on, which is where I'm at right now, and then you die. And when you're in the what the hell is going on stage, That's when you get to a place where can't be no secrets, y'all. You want to be, because you know the death thing that's another year, couple years down the road. But before you pass on, you want to make sure that truth is known, truth is talked about. You always want to hand your earth to the next generation a little better than how you found it. And right now, the only way we can do that is we got to push the liars out of control of everything they're in control of, whether it's the church, the government, the Fed, the just every aspect, the school systems. Got to get the psychopaths out. You got to force everybody to tell the truth. Anyway, listen, this is Gerard. Thanks for hanging out. A little fun. Go to MarsAnomalyResearch.com and find something interesting and send it to me. Or go send me one of your favorite sites and we can talk about that. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And because tomorrow is Monday. That's slavery day, y'all. So get ready to pick your cotton. Get your bag hot. Y'all have a good day now. Bye-bye.